Alrighty, what I've got here is a active shooter bag. This is not a long-term survival kit. This is bare essentials in the event that you run into an active shooter. Or in an active shooter scenario. Before we get into the gear, I want to talk a little bit about an active shooter. When we're dealing with an active shooter, we have to understand these circumstances are not predictable. I don't know anybody that has been involved in one of these incidents that says, hey, let's go to such and such place today. There's going to be somebody shooting the place up. Doesn't happen that way. These things seem to come from out of nowhere. The other thing, they don't happen the same way every time. So if you're preparing yourself for what happened in the last incident, well, that's about the best you can do. But understand that the next incident may be something completely different. The last truth I'm going to give you about these incidents, since they happen and seem to come from out of nowhere, most likely you're going to be stuck fighting with what you have on you, what you know, and what you can improvise. And improvised weapons get into a whole subject by themselves. Now, that being said, seeing that the odds are unlikely that I would be able to get to this bag, why have it put together? Rather have it put together and ready to go in the event I do get to it. And having something prepared to put the odds in your favor, always a good thing. The centerpiece for this is the Wasser 10. It's Romanian AK-47. I prefer the heavier bullet from the 7.62 by 39. Some people disagree with me and say, oh, the 223 is a better round. Okay, that's great. If you like the AR-15 and the 223 and that's what strokes your puppy, hey, more power to you. This one's plain Jane Wasser. I put some oil on the stocks to make them look halfway decent. 1-point sling. I painted the front side orange to help it show up a little better. The reason I like the AK-47, it's one of the more durable rifles. This isn't something that is going to be used and maintained on a daily basis. This is going to be something put in the bag. It's going to sit. It's not going to be oiled and cleaned every day. I do keep them clean reasonably, and I do practice with it quite a bit. I have no problems hitting man-sized targets out to 300 yards with this rifle. Got 2 extra mags there, 2 extra mags in that. The truth of the matter, when you have a bad day, active shooter, something like that, it's going to be unfolding very fast. It may happen that if you're lucky enough to get to your kit, consider yourself lucky, you may end up grabbing your rifle, throwing the extra mag in your back pocket, and that's what you've got. May be that way sometimes. Understand, these don't happen under conditions where you're fresh and rested and ready and you've got all your buddies with you and all of y'all are packing a hell of a lot more heavy iron than was at the OK Corral. Another option, full-size pistol. This is my FNS 40 caliber. 2 extra magazines. These ride in this middle compartment here, this bag. The reason I prefer them in this outside compartment, I can get it in there halfway straight. Manipulating everything with one hand, holding the phone with the other. If I can get to this bag, pop this open, I at least have a firearm. A full-size gun. I know under ideal conditions, everybody be packing a full-size gun concealed. Doesn't happen that way. I'm in North Florida. It's hot here most of the year. Full-size gun. This one carries 14-1 and 40 caliber. If this gun or the caliber doesn't suit you, pick one you like. You know, if you like 9mm, that's great. If you like 45, that's great. You like a different make or model, hey, maybe you like blondes, redheads, brunettes. Me, I like them all. That's a fast pistol I can get into action. It's high capacity and going to give me distinct advantages over my Smith & Wesson Shield, which is a single stack gun in 40 caliber. Extra box of ammunition. 40 caliber Remington, 180 grain hollow points. You'd think with this setup, why have an extra box of shells in there for your pistol? Why the hell not? It doesn't take up that much room, it doesn't take up that much weight. The bag here, this is a red field, red line bag. Walmart used to sell them. Holds all my junk. Seems to hold up well. I've had it about 3 years. Chest rig. Little Chi-Com canvas chest rig. Plain and simple. Carries 4 AK mags. It's got 2 extra pouches on the side. Odds are I'm not going to get a chance to deploy this whole rig. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Better to have it, not need it, than to need it and not have it. Okay, very simple rig. Takes up very little space. Fold it up, put it in one of the bigger compartments. It's there if I get a chance to use it. Blowout kit. Field Officer's Pocket Trauma Kit. It's got a SWAT T tourniquet, Z-Pack dressing, gloves and duct tape. A lot of people are going to say, hey, you know, what about carrying a needle and all this other stuff? Well, number one, for a hole in your chest, I'm trained to a level of a first responder. I was taught, put a piece of plastic over it, tape down 3 sides, let the 4th side flap, that way air could go in and out. That's the level of training I've got. I'm not going to exceed it. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to try to control heavy bleeding. I'm going to do what I can do. You know, their guys trained a lot more than I am. Understanding this is not a standalone survival kit. I got a kit in the truck, probably that covers all my needs in rural outlying areas. Still do like to have a few items with me. Compass, flashlight, pocket knife, and a lighter. Why? Why not? Could I make use of some of these items in an emergency? Yeah. They're in little plastic bags. They're going to stay in this bag. Doesn't take up that much space. Also should be noted that those 4 items I keep on my person as well. Compass, flashlight, knife, and a lighter. Well, that's about all the fun stuff we have to look at. The kit here is, like I said, put together in the event of an active shooter. And it's put together to give me something to work with, which beats nothing to work with. This is just kind of an example of a kit I put together, you know, to meet a need. Unfortunately, we're having a rise in these type of incidents. And this will at least give you some tools to work with if you can get to them. Most likely, you're going to have to fight with what you have on you, what you know, what you can improvise. That being said, I'd rather try to stack the odds as much in my favor as I can manage. Having stuff like this on hand, available to me, may change the circumstances drastically. Well, that's a look at some of the kit. Hope y'all enjoy it. I know gearheads are going to be looking at it and salivating and saying, hey, you ought to do this, you ought to do that. Hey, no, I don't need to do that. I've got my stuff squared away. You need to do that. Hey, you don't like the AK? Put a rifle of your choice in there. You want a shotgun? More power to you. You got a different make, model of pistol you like? Put it together. Different chest rig, different needs, different locations. You know, don't tell me to put stuff together. I need to do this or I need to do that. Hey, you need to look at that, learn from it. Maybe say, hey, I do this a little bit differently than Jeremy's going to do it. Let me set my kit up to meet this need because this is the environment I deal in. This is where I live, where I work, where I travel to, where I spend my recreational time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, subscribe to the channel, hit like. put a comment on there. Later on,